Good morning and welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. What's next for you? Visit cnext.bank for more. Boy, you guys really had a lot of Northern Lights pictures last night. Asked for them about 9 o'clock last night. I hopped on a bike ride and then I hopped off the bike ride and then I got in the shower and I looked up and there was like 300 pictures. It's awesome. Thank you so much for sending them in. Thanks to those that sent pictures in via the Digital Weather Desk app, which is available for Apple and Android users. So if you sent those pictures in, I'm hoping to compile them later today and not show the best because I think it's virtually impossible to try to nail all of them down to just the best pictures. I'm just going to try to compile some that catch my eye and share them with you. And, of course, I want to see your pictures as well. So I didn't get a chance to really see it. Light pollution's pretty rough in our neighborhood. We're kind of right in the middle of town. And there's a lot of trees, too. So it's kind of a bummer here. If you want the opportunity to see it again tonight, I think your odds are slim. There is going to be northern lights visible again tonight, but I think it's going to be back farther northward, higher latitudes, kind of the more typical places that are prone to seeing it. Also, what would play a role, even if they are visible in our area, which is still a possibility that they could be visible in some faint degree. The downside to that is I really am thinking that cloud cover could play a role tonight. So if you missed it last night, I think last night was probably one of the more vibrant displays that we've seen in our area in recent memory. We've had them in recent memory, but in terms of what we saw last night, that was wild stuff. All right, temperatures across the area are obviously noticeably warmer, but some areas still reaching the low to mid-40s to start the day. So grab the jacket as you head out the door. Visibility is not much of an issue. It's down to 3 miles in Camden, but the vast majority of our area seems to be faring fine in terms of visibility and things of that nature. And the winds are probably helping us out in that regard as well. Janine, good morning to you. Again, if you are hopping in and you got to see the Northern Lights last night, say, hey, I saw them, or, oh, I didn't see them, or I think I saw them, or I kind of saw them, or whatever. And then I'll, like I said, ask for more pictures if you have any awesome ones a little bit later. Wind speeds back out of the south. They'll stay uninterrupted out of the south as we go through the daytime hours today. Check the infrared satellite, not the visible satellite, because, well, sun's just now rising, so we don't really have many pictures to show there. But we do have some clouds that are starting to move back in toward the Arklatex region. I would expect clouds to be a little bit more of a prominent feature in the forecast for the rest of the week. Oh, you did post a picture. Sorry I did not keep track of the names because there were so many of you last night. Beverly, will there be more tonight? There possibly could be, and it's also kind of a tough thing to forecast in our area just because we're in the lower latitudes, so it's a little bit like last night was kind of a surprise, to be honest with you. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that we could see it again tonight, but like I just mentioned, and you probably just hopped onto the stream, I think cloud cover would play a role in the forecast tonight. Radar products made possible, every shingle one of them made possible by Brown's Roofing. Schedule your roof inspection at brownsroofingla.com. Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports, I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe. And it shows a weak stationary front that kind of drapes across the region this evening. I say across the region. It kind of teases our northern counties across southern Arkansas and western Mississippi. It stalls and washes out. And essentially, we continue on this same pattern through the rest of the week where we encounter the morning clouds and most of that thins out and allows for some sunshine through the afternoon. We repeat the whole process through the early part of the weekend. And then you see a cold front that, again, teases the area Sunday morning. That was supposedly supposed to be a pretty potent storm system, but the upper level pattern and what we expect to see has changed. And we know that we're going to trend soggier at some point, probably in the next week to 10 days. We just don't know specifically when. Checking the water vapor imagery this morning, and here's what we've got. We've got this ridge of high pressure out over northern Mexico, and we're kind of embedded in this relatively west to northwesterly pattern, which continues to filter in some nice dry air across the area. Now, we are starting to see a warming trend as the winds at the surface. These are winds aloft, but winds out of the surface are back out of the south. So we are starting to see the warming trend, but you're not seeing any significant storm systems, at least here in the short term, that will pose any kind of significant rain risk. As we put things into motion with the Futurecast, again, that ridge of high pressure moves eastward. And so I expect us to continue with the very quiet conditions through the early half of the weekend. Now, out over the California coastline, you see this big spinning upper low. How that evolves has a strong bearing on what we deal with next week, whether it's kind of a 1-2 piece of storm system or whether it just kind of hangs out along the west coastline and this upper level pattern just gets more and more amplified. The ridge of high pressure is still stout over the northern Gulf. And generally speaking, depending on what computer model data you want to run on, it really pushes rain chances out of the Sunday-Monday window, almost out of the Monday-Tuesday window, and really into the Tuesday-Wednesday window. What I usually interpret that from the computer models is that they know that a pattern change is coming, but obviously there are no specifics and there are no details. Again, depending on how the system evolves, whether it kind of reflects off of it gets bounced away by the ridge of high pressure, whether it erodes the ridge, allows for a secondary system to come through. We just don't know. And I said this yesterday. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. And anybody that says they know, they're lying to you. Some folks may have a better idea. They may have a better guess than me, but they don't know. But again, the overall trend is for... And the other cool thing about this is if you really wanted to get into the super nerdy thing about it, is we're kind of fighting back against the La Nina pattern, which typically doesn't allow for a lot of subtropical moisture to get kind of caught up in the pattern. So there are some larger scale things kind of fighting against bringing the rain back into the region. But we also know that the La Nina pattern should start to become more neutral, which helps us. And then also just the seasonal change, we should start to get storm systems more frequently. Don't know when. Sometime next week, I would think that we are going to deal with some type of storm system. It'll probably bring rain, could bring severe weather. But that's about all we know at that point. And even then, I don't have a lot of confidence in it. S. Burnside on YouTube. I don't see names on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining us. I know you're disappointed. I'm disappointed that I missed him last night. Alice, Janice, John, Joy, and Janet. A lot of J names. Good morning from Jared. All right, daytime highs today will be back in the mid-70s. Few afternoon clouds. Again, we're encountering some of them this morning. Rain chances close to 0. Winds will stay breezy out of the south-southwest. Shonda, good morning to you. There's a non-J name. Overnight lows tonight, mid-50s. Clouds continue to be a possibility, but nowhere near as cool as it's been. Again, we are trending from the 30s to the 40s to now the 50s for overnight lows. In some spots, we'll be close to 60 degrees by the end of the week or by the start of next week. Look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. Good morning, May. Another non-J name. Shows daytime highs climbing back to near 80 Friday, Saturday. Obviously well above normal for this time of year. Morning lows back in the mid-50s. Rain chances, I've kind of stepped them up from Sunday, Monday to Tuesday. Still not a lot of confidence in them. But that's also been reflected in the app. All of our rain chances have been pushed back. Usually when you're pushing things back, that again, usually means that the computer models are seeing some type of seasonal change. But it's also, I don't know. It's been rough lately. Computer models have been insistent on the pattern change. And again, I do think we're going to see one. Just don't know when it's going to happen. I'll let you know, though, when I know. Kim and Bobby, good morning to you. Again, your Too Long didn't read out at 9:30 this morning. I will be clamoring and begging for more of your Northern Lights pictures since I didn't get any good ones last night. So I'll post that later today. Don't feel like you need to post those pictures right now. Good morning to you, Ann. But I'll post, like I said, I'll share some of the best of the night. Not the best of the night, but some of, because again, there's like 400 pictures to go through. And if you have any more, I'll ask for them then, and we'll all um, enjoy the artwork that Mother Nature and the good Lord gave us last night, because it was cool stuff. All right, again, Too Long Didn't Read at 9:30. Fish and Game later tonight. I'll join you midday and later this evening as we continue to try to figure out when the rain's going to return to the forecast, because boy, do we need it. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com or on the Digital Weather Desk app, available for Apple and Android users. I was able to say that really, really fast. I've been working on saying Digital Weather Desk very quickly. It's not the easiest thing to say fast. If you have taken time out of your day to be here, I'm so glad you're here. I'll check back with you midday. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank.